What's good, AMP family? Hope everybody is doing amazing. Welcome to another episode of the Amped Up Squad podcast. You got the fellas in here. We're talking to King Johnny V, The Morning, and Eric. I am that guy, Amped. You all know me as Amped for sure. So we are excited. Today's topic is I Need a Girl. Woo! Yeah. Now, I don't personally need a girl. I got a wife and 3 kids. That's good enough for me. But we're focusing this whole topic, this whole conversation on how do you catch the girl that you want, right? And then once you have her, how do y'all keep the relationship going? And so that's kind of the focus. And look, we got some young ones in here today. So hopefully you all will enjoy the conversation, and I'll share a little bit of my insight from my almost 10 years of marriage. I'm not an expert, I promise. All right. So first, well, let me put it on the table. How do y'all show the girl that y'all interested?
I think that goes to either John or Jason, experts on this topic.
I don't know, man. These girls be on games. You know, you trying to show interest. They take it a little bit. You feed into it a little bit. You say, hey, like, let's hang out. Let's do this. Let's do that. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. The day comes. You hit them up. Crickets. You see them again in the hallway or whatever. Hey, what happened? Oh, something came up. Okay, that's cool. Okay, well, how about we go on a trip? You don't have to worry about anything. Everything's paid for. All you got to do is just come. Okay, well, let me just ask, my parents if it's cool and all that. Okay, cool. Ask them. They're cool with it, but then you say, I need some money for this and that. What you mean? I just said everything's taken care of for. The dinner, gas, all that taken care of for. And then they just
Ghost. Oh.
And it's hard.
Okay.
I mean, some girls, especially now, you can't really do anything because of the virus and all that. But, before it was affecting, social, activity, you would show interest to a girl and you find some similarities or some interest that you could, go on a date with and, pursue, a relationship with.
Mm-hmm.
That way you can, keep up with it and probably put a label on the relationship. But it's hard now because people sometimes, they're feeling a certain way, then they switch up and then they go a different route,
Mm-hmm.
or they might have another relationship that they're in already. So it's tough. It's tough to find the person that you're looking for, and especially not trying to be picky, because you'll see a couple of girls and just be like, nah. Yeah, maybe you, and then you get to know them, and they're just, So it's hard.
Okay. What about you, Jason?
I'm doing same boat. Mostly, they're not looking for any serious relationships or anything like that. They want something quick, easy, that they're just on and off whenever they want to.
Right.
Could it be you're looking at the wrong ones?
Could be, but
Okay.
These are some of the girls that we kind of, grew up with or had class together or school together, so we kind of know them.
Gotcha.
And then we show interest. You can tell when a girl's flirting with you. I assume. So they'll. I don't want to touch, but they'll like touch your shoulder or like they'll hold your hand or like you'll be eating something and they'll want to taste it or they'll give you something. You're like, okay, this is cool. Then you start hanging out more, and then they change up, and then they don't want that. They want something else with like a party life or something. It's just like, whoa, don't you just like to chill? You just said you like to chill and just hang out and all that, and then but on the weekends you turning up and shot. So it's like that gray area that you kind of don't know.
Okay. All right. So Eric, why are you so quiet over there?
Yeah.
I've been out of this this searching pool for a little while now. But even before, when I was looking, I've only dated 2 people in my life,
Mhm.
and that was people that I had knew basically for several years.
Okay.
Like my girlfriend now, I knew her since middle school. The other girl I dated, I knew her for several years before we even dated.
Okay.
So I guess that's what I look for, something that's familiar to me, somebody that I already know, been friends with for a little while. But yeah, I've never been good at flirting with people,
Okay.
I guess,
Okay.
or letting somebody know I've been interested in them. And like I said, the girl I'm dating right now, I liked her back in middle school. She claims she never knew.
Okay. Makes sense.
So yeah, so I don't know how to necessarily show interest in a girl
Gotcha.
without being like a creep, you know?
Right.
Gotcha. Okay. No, and you know, it's one of those things that even outside of the norm of being in person with people, right? It's really hard from a social media standpoint to, to really per se flirt with somebody who you're talking. Words on paper can be very empty. You're like, oh, you just putting words on that. That means absolutely nothing until you actually having conversations with people. In the sense of me talking to somebody in person, like right face to face, you can see what their reactions are. You can understand and sort of feel out what's up. Whereas now, because of the pandemic, it's like, okay, yeah, I like you. What does that mean? What does that mean in a pandemic? But at the same time, it forces you to get to know that person. Like Eric said, there's some familiarity there that makes it easier to kind of move into those relationships. At least you have been able to feel that person out. But he said at the same time, she didn't even know. She's like, what?
Sure didn't know.
No, no idea. And that's one of for a guy that can be a very big gray area. Like one, if you're not very outgoing,
Right.
it's oh well, I had no idea you were interested. Oh well, I was sending the signs. They could be completely oblivious. But if you're a very extroverted type person, then sometimes that can be like, oh, bruh, you coming on too strong, back up, right? And so there's always that gray area where you kind of have to feel out that person. You have to really get to know, okay, that person's likes and dislikes, or without getting stuck in the friend zone. Like, let's be completely honest. You can show, oh yeah, I'm attracted to you. Oh no, but you've been friend zoned it, and you didn't realize it. Like, oh snap.
It's a hit or miss.
Right.
I feel like if the
Exactly.
girl is into you, no matter how strong you
she-
come on, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
She's not gonna think anything of it because she likes you. That's fine. She wants
Right.
you to come on to her.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody that don't necessarily like you, she sees you as a brother. Really, it don't matter how strong you come on, it's gonna be creepy to her because that's not what
That's
she
what.
wants.
Gotcha. Yeah. And it definitely does depend on their mindset, right? Because you would, if it's like you said, a friend, they're like, no, what you doing? Like you could turn the world over backwards for them, but they will always see you as that friend. In many cases, right? There are some cases where people have been known to break out of that friend zone, but it doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
It's not one thing that happens often, because I think it falls on the line of attraction. Like if they are initially attracted to you, right? They think of you as, oh, that might be a potential something. Then it really then is up to the guy on how he approaches that. But if they, oh no, yeah, not attracted to him, no,
Right.
you ain't getting the time of the day, even if you have a great personality right off the bat, right? It's a matter of, okay, well, how do you navigate that? And showing you're attracted to someone can be one of those areas where you have to be careful what you say and what you do. There's no way around it. You have to be very careful what you say and what you do, especially in a time that we're in right now, because the last thing you want to be pinned in as someone that has harassing people, things like that. So yeah,
A lawsuit.
right. No, don't want no lawsuits. So if you can't easily tell somebody that you're attracted to them, then how would they know that you're interested, or does that conversation even come up? Like, how do you go about bringing that conversation up then? Say if they didn't know, right? Like, with your current? Like, how did y'all like crack that? Well, she didn't even know, but you somehow. I mean, y'all been together for what 6 years now?
Yeah,
Almost now.
well, like I was saying, after when we came back in high school, it turned out that she liked me. So then all the signs that I was giving, she was receiving them now because she was looking for me to give her, for me to be into her, I guess.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
So
That's
I guess
fire.
it was easier for me to slide in there because she was already looking for that.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
Must be nice.
Must be nice. So, guys, for y'all then, how then do you approach young ladies that you're interested in? Like, is it that, oh, I've been getting to know you, spending time with you, I'm trying to do this? Or is it, no, let me see who you are before I deem you as, I want to build a relationship with you?
Personally, I was go ahead and just say it, because I mean, I don't really like to play games or waste time, because there's no point to, like, some people will get in a relationship, and I'm not, calling anyone out or saying anything, but I really regret or don't want to be in a position where I'm with someone, and we build like a life together, and years down the line we're just like, I don't like you. Like, what was the point of building something and then trying to get to know each other and then all this, and then at the end we're just like, you know what, this isn't it. I'd rather make sure beforehand, we upfront, hey, this is what I expect of you. This is what you can expect from me. This is where I think this can go. Let's just try for it. Because there was someone who, I don't know how long ago, but I know men are supposed to be the hunters and, the ones that are supposed to, let it be known. So I, hey, you're pretty, cute. I think this could, be something. What would you say if I, shot my shot? And I wasn't expecting anything back, but she said, it depends on how you shoot your shot. And then I think she sent like an emoji. I was like, oh, okay, bet. Let me see. Did a whole Kobe. That joke was fire. And then I was like, all right, okay. I wasn't expecting nothing back from the first message, but let's see. Nothing. I was like, bruh, what was the whole point of saying that, it depends on how you shoot your shot? Like, maybe the shot was bad or anything, but you could at least say, hey, maybe next time or anything like that, but it wasn't red, nothing. And then, the next time I, talked to her, it seemed like she didn't even know who I was. I was like,
Okay.
what in the world? Okay, so, all right, scratch that. So that's why if I chase someone and, and they're not kind of, I don't know how to say it, but, if I chase someone and, I want them to know that I like them, I'm going to make it known. Like, up front, this is what it's going to be. I really like you. Maybe we can see where this is going, because personally, I've had too many times where I was trying to like someone and it seemed like they never got the hint. So it's just like, you know what, I'm done with that. I'll just let you know up front, so you're not like, oh my gosh, what? Like, I'm tired of that, bro.
Got you. Okay. So be right up front, blunt,
front.
kind of. Don't sugarcoat it. Like, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. If you're trying to take this ride with me, let's go.
Let's go.
Okay. Okay. What about you, Jason?
Well, I learned from, I think, last year high school, someone I didn't tell them I liked them or anything. I just would just spend time with them, basically. And when school was over, it was like there's no more school because we were graduating. And she lived like down the street from me. And I rode my bike over there and just was with her family and stuff. And then they cooked food. And then I told her I was into her like sometime later. And she's like, oh, I didn't know. I have a boyfriend now.
Gotcha. So even after spending the time with her, when you felt most comfortable telling her, it was like, oh, well, you're too late. You waited too long. Okay. Okay. Yeah, no, it's one of those things. Like, even for myself, there have been a number of times where you're like, oh yeah, everything, you feeling great with this, and you're like, oh, you read that wrong.
All right.
How did I read this wrong? Like, it's you and me at
Go
dates.
way
Like,
back.
we've been on this many dates over the course of this. Like, I am one that is, I remember dates and I remember like events, right? And so when we've been on 20 plus consecutive dates and it's been you and I, whether it's talking about everything under the sun, sitting at a nice dinner or something like that, and you haven't been expected to pay anything, and then you're like, oh well, no, you read that wrong.
Like,
Wait,
what?
whoa! how did I read that wrong? It wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm hanging out with such and such. No, from what you told me, hey, from what you showed, everything showed exclusive. It wasn't like you were going with any other guys at the time, things like that. And it's like, so how did I read that wrong? Like,
Right.
we spend every waking moment together outside of being in class, and I read that wrong. Oh, okay, well, but it happens. It's one of those things where sometimes people like the attention.
Yeah.
And I think for us, that goes both ways, right? Sometimes we like somebody being around just as much as
Feeling
they
macho.
they like being taken care of, and so we just have to, I think, set kind of that ground, right? That expectation of, okay, when we've started putting a lot of money into things, hey, so what's going on here? What are we trying to do?
All right.
That's how feelings get hurt.
Yeah.
Be broken.
The undercover friend zone, right? Like, oh yeah, we've been spending all this time together doing everything.
That's why in the previous relationships that I've been in, I've let the other person come to me. Because I've been in the part where I was just like, you know what, there's no point to just go out there and put myself out there and just keep trying, and then I'm just getting shut down. I'm going to just wait, chill out, and just see, what comes. And they've come, things didn't work out, and that's okay. But at least, I didn't put my effort out there and put, into, 20 people and try to, see what was going on and then narrow it down like that. Someone came to me, we worked it out, and then it didn't work. I'm okay. I'm fine with that. I can live with that. I think that's fine for men to sometimes just take a break. You don't have to, go and hunt,
All the
females. Because sometimes those females know other females. And they be setting you up. And it's not a good look.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that is definitely not a good look to be the player that is being played, if you will.
Oh, yeah, Chris? Yeah, he was in my DMs too. Look, girl.
Oh, nope. Cut it out. All right, so when you do catch her, how do you keep it going? Like, what is it about the relationship? Like, what are you putting into the relationship that is going to keep that relationship fresh for you? Like, from your mindset. I think we're going to start over here with Mr. Eric. Like, hey, you got 6 years in, bro. Like, how do you keep it popping and fresh, right?
I feel like it depends on who you're dating.
Mm-hmm.
The girl I'm dating is really like low key, relaxed, low maintenance. Like we can just sit and watch TV the entire day, and we'll be fine with that. Just me and her, we sit on the couch, we watch TV. That's fine.
Oh wow.
Me and her we go grocery shopping, or we go pick up some errands from like Office Depot or something like that. That's our date. That's what we'll do.
Okay.
So I guess it just depends on who you're dating and what they expect from your relationship. Like I said, that's something that that's something that we're okay with. We're not expecting something more from the relationship, so it doesn't get boring. We don't have to change anything to make it better, I guess.
Okay.
But just know who you're dating and know what they expect, and then you can go from there.
Man, that's goals.
Right? Relationship goals right there. I'm learning something. I'm like, okay, all right, keep it simple, right? That's what I heard. Keep it simple.
Depot.
So what about y'all? When y'all in relationships, what do you all do to keep the relationship going?
Try to remember, small details. I mean, you don't have to remember you should remember birthdays, wedding anniversaries, all that. Just remember that. But also remember, small details, like what kind of, snacks they like, or, whatever they do when they get up in the morning, how they like their coffee, or, small things like that I think can go a long way, especially, when it's time to, show appreciation, not just on, a certain day of like your wedding anniversary or Valentine's Day or Christmas or their birthday. You can, do it throughout, the weeks or the months, every here and there. Just, hey, I love you, or I'm thinking about you, and I bring this home. I thought about you, and here's a small gift. I think those small details can, show how much love you have for that person, and I think that's how you can keep it going too.
Yeah, I agree with that. Also, just show how you feel inside to her every once in a while. Don't be so over dramatic, but show that you care about her.
Okay.
He said, "Don't be over dramatic."
Don't be over dramatic. Okay, I like that. Yeah, no, for me, it's the same thing. I like how you all put it. Um, Married almost 10 years, and it's really in the details. One of the things that I will suggest for anybody that is getting in a relationship or planning to be in a long relationship is know what your love language is. And people might be like, "What? What's a love language?" There is a book called The Five Love Languages, and it is one of those things that is somewhat very revealing on how people see love and appreciate love. And some people are very gift oriented. Some people are you do things like acts of service, right? You say, "Oh, I picked up such and such. Oh, loved it," right? Words of affirmation, like encouraging them. Some people are physical touch, giving them a hug, rubbing their back, or just sitting close, and then quality time, like just spending time. Like the fact that you all might be in the same room might be
That's
all that
mine.
person needs to know that you love. And so knowing that has been one of the big pillars outside of faith. In my relationship, knowing my wife's love language has been one of the best things. She is a gifter. she loves gifts, and so surprising her with roses or just random. Oh, hey, here's a Kit Kat bar. Wasn't expecting it. Know she likes it. Bam, brownie points.
I think that's hard. Like to, it's hard to figure out at first. Once you figure it out, it's easy to stay on that.
Yeah.
Like on that mindset. Like she wants to get gifts. Okay, that's easy. I'm just gonna get her gifts whenever she needs some gifts. Like that. But hard things like just being thoughtful, like opening doors or
Putting the
if
toilet
you have
down.
kids, folding up clothes, or if you have kids, putting the kids to sleep. I think it's harder to pick up on those, like what she wants from you, and it's on things like that, being thoughtful, or something else smaller like that.
Yeah, and and any relationship requires kind of what we're doing, right? Talking, communication. In order for it to be built, in order for it to grow, you all have to talk so that you do know those little small things. Well, if you could do this, this would really help me out, right? Or if, and it goes both ways. Conversation having a conversation is a dialogue. It goes both ways. She says some things, you say some things, and where y'all need compromises, y'all figure out compromises. If it's just know this would encourage me to keep on in this area, bam, and that will alleviate some of the headaches that we try to figure out in relationships. Because sometimes we just hold it in forever in the day, and it's like it blows up, and it's too late at that point. It's like so, just having those conversations and being okay with you are not always going to agree. I think that's one of the big things about relationships. You're not always going to agree on everything.
All right.
It's just not going to happen. You're two very different people. And one of the things that I read before we got married is you're taking two very selfish people, especially for a marriage, and putting them together and say, now y'all figure it out and know how to be selfless. What? I before this was concerned about my happiness, what I wanted, my dreams, my goals. Now that I'm in a marriage, I'm like, oh, well, wait, what's important to you? Well, if you're not talking, you can't understand that or know what that is.
Right.
If you aren't spending time together, how you know the small things, the small details, and things like that. So all these little pieces are important to keep that marriage going, that relationship going, and hopefully for the new relationships, in order to get there, knowing what your expectation for marriage is right before you get there. I think that's important as well.
Especially when you have kids, especially babies at like a young age, and especially, I see this a lot, but I don't know because I'm not married, nor do I have a kid. But when you have a newborn or infant, and they start crying through the middle of the night, and they be like, "Oh, babe, it's your turn," or "Hey, I'll take care of it." Does that happen a lot, or is it nice? When you have your baby crying, and then your partner says, "Hey, I'll take care of it." Is that cool or?
So, from what I gather from not only myself but my friends that are married with kids and things, it is important that you share the task, especially with newborns. Kids are a two-person job, right? It is not a, oh, the wife got it, right? No, it can't be that way. Otherwise, you're just gonna have a very angry, upset, depressed, especially in those young times. I knew that I had to be helpful to my wife when it came to our kids, especially in the younger ages, because there is a thing called postpartum depression.
Right.
So after they've had the kid, then it's kind of that decompression of now their hormones are and everything is all over the place. And how do you help? How do you assist? Well, at night it's like, oh no, I got it. I'll change the diapers and things like that. And hey, I'll come home from work and I'll just sit for a few hours
with the baby,
with the baby, laying on my chest or just playing with the baby while the wife is taking a nap, just to give those times to her as well. And so it's all part of the relationship. Like if you want to have kids, and I think we might have to. I think I'm the only one with kids to my knowledge. I better be right. I better be right. But that might be an interesting conversation to have at some other point. I'm not an expert on it, but I know how it affects our relationship.
Okay. And then how do you guys deal with differences?
Mm.
Do they just talk it out, or?
So every relationship has differences. Like everybody has differences. One of the big differences that, and I'm sure you all will agree with your different girlfriends, is how were you all raised, right? Mm-hmm. Those differences right there are enough to like, what? This relationship ain't gonna work, right? Because look, I know for some, religion is a difference, right? Mm-hmm. And that may not be the end all be all for some relationships, but I know for some it is
a big flag,
right? It is a big. Oh wait, no, we don't. Nope, sorry, we're not two peas in the pot. Sorry, that's not gonna work. But I also know that some people were raised on beatings, right? We're not going to sugarcoat that. Beatings. And some people are disciplined with, go stand in the corner. You're in timeout.
Like that don't do nothing. I'm sorry.
But for some,
I'm sorry.
But for some, it did, right? Mm-hmm. And so that bringing that into a relationship is like, well, when you get to that serious point of marriage and about to rear kids,
right?
How you gonna apply that?
Which one do you choose?
Mm-hmm. And so it's also the differences in the family dynamics.
Right.
Like my family is very kind of like we all are very independent within our family. We're close, but we're very independent. We're doing our thing. But my wife's family is everybody talks to everybody often, right? They see everybody as often as they possibly can, and it is very different. Like somebody's going through something, everybody and their mom knows, okay, no, hey, we're praying for you, we're doing this and so forth. Mm-hmm. While other parts are like, no, hey, so it's one of those things. It's understanding your differences, one, because understanding what's different about you and understanding what's different about them so that you can talk about them. Because mm-hmm. if you don't know that, oh, well, I didn't realize that was a difference, right? So it does require you talking, but it also requires you knowing you.
All right. Because that's big. Because someone at this table knows of someone who I was interested in her, and I was finding things out, and we didn't have the same religion. And that's not to say that, it couldn't work, but I was starting to realize maybe, our upbringings and all that stuff, when we get together, and if we were going to, do this thing, something's going to break. Something's going to have to pull. Something's going to have to give. And someone's going to be, mad. Someone's going to have to, make a big sacrifice that they're going to be upset with for the rest of their life. And I came to that conclusion that I just had to go. I had to get away. They gave me a no already, but then I came back to the conclusion, or I heard that they were just kind of still, hey, like, where they been? They'll send him, a message like, yo, where's this person? How are they doing? All that stuff. That's fine. That's okay. But they think that I stopped talking to them is because of rejection. But personally, I know that if we were to really get in a relationship and serious, serious talk down and, settle down, our religion's kind of going to get messed up. And then that dynamic of the families is going to get messed up too. So I can't sacrifice. I can't just go into a relationship and be like, yeah, let's do this, knowing that something's going to, fall down. I can't do that.
Okay.
And what differences do you think makes it too far? Like differences like, no, this is not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how we do it, it's not going to work because of this. Like, what are some differences that you think fall into that?
Mm-hmm.
Would religion one?
Religion can be one, yes. I think boundaries, like family boundaries or
Personal boundaries. Or
personal boundaries as well.
Space.
Those can be red flags that can be the end all of, no, we're just not going to do this, right? So there are some things that we all kind of make up in our minds that if this is how this person is, no, we're just not going to deal with it. And it can sometimes be personalities, right? Your personality can be such where it's like, no, my focus is this, this, and this. And you're like, that's not going to mesh with what I'm trying to accomplish. Mm-hmm. And I think the difference is, I guess it also depends on the person. Because some pet peeves can be like, if this person does this, yeah,
that's a deal breaker. I'm sorry.
That's a deal breaker. And so everybody creates their deal breakers, and I guess that might be even a better question. Like, what are some of your deal breakers? Yeah. Like,
what's your limit?
Yeah, what's your limit? Like, I know for myself, a deal breaker for me was not having kids. Right? Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I've always wanted a family. So if the person I'm talking to is like, nah, I don't want kids. Okay, that's not what I want. So for me, that was a deal breaker, right?
Okay, what if you were with someone and they said up front they don't want kids, but then later down the line, they were open up to it?
And that's the thing. Like,
you would want it up front, like.
For me, it's more of if I am building with you from the jump, I want to know, I want to kind of set up in my mind, hey, are we going to do the kid thing or not? Like, growing to want to be around kids, there are many people that I know that if they didn't want kids prior, right, usually there's a reason as to why, right. And that stays. It doesn't just, oh, yeah, well, we did such and such, and oops, it was an accident, right? They're like, no. They are taking those right precautions to make sure that that's not it. And so for me, right off front, when I am thinking more along the marriage line, right? Because I think how I approached dating when I started being serious about dating, it was more of, can I see myself with you? And when I started approaching it like that, it was like, okay, so there are going to be some things, some conversations that I'm going to start feeling out if this is going to be that person. Like, oh, hey. And we may be 3 weeks into a relationship. Oh, how do you feel about kids? Like, if they have brothers and sisters, siblings, and things like that, you can kind of start feeling out, oh, well, are they going to want kids? Is that something that is up their alley? All by how you word certain questions and how you're listening. So I was always one that, no, they don't want kids. I'm good. And so it'll never progress to, oh, yeah, I all of a sudden want kids. Okay, yep, nope. Now, if 10 years later I saw them with kids, I'm like, oh, wow, that's somebody that really changed their mind based off of what they told me. Okay. But for me, that was just one of those deal breakers that if you don't want kids, we're not going to do this.
Okay. Well, this is to both of you. I guess in the current relationship you are, because you've been with her for 6 and you've been with her for, almost 10. And you've had pet peeves, before going into the relationship. Is there a pet peeve that you had before going into the relationship that your current spouse does that is kind of broken? That pet peeve that you had, that you hated so much?
Oh, we going? We at 34. We're at 34? All right. Hey, look. The conversation got so good that we got caught up. The time has run away from us. But look, we're going to do the part 2. So
y'all going to want to hear that.
Yeah. Make sure that y'all tune into the next episode of the Amped Up Squad podcast. I'm one of your hosts, that guy Amped, with Eric, LaMorning, and King Johnny V. Make sure that you all keep coming back. Make sure you follow us on all of our social media channels, and make sure you subscribe. Take that chance and subscribe to the podcast so you know every time something new is coming up. And so, look, we will catch you all next time. Always stay amped up.